So the first crash happened last night at about 6:30 p.m. in the area of La Bajada and Atrisco. And that one involved a white Lexus and a black Honda CRV in that area. The white Lexus was driven by a 17-year-old male. He was stopped at that stop sign and he turned into traffic, not seeing another vehicle coming. The black SUV was traveling at a high rate of speed and recklessly and crashed into the white Lexus. The driver of the white Lexus, the 17-year-old, was critically injured. He's still in critical condition this morning. The driver of the black SUV was arrested at the scene and charged with a DWI and other charges related to that. So his name's in the press release and you should be able to find his information online. I know he was complaining of injuries last night, so I'm not sure if he's actually booked into MDC yet or not. So that was the first one. The second one was similar in circumstances. This happened in the area of Tower and 98th just before 10:30 p.m. last night. One vehicle was at that intersection, got a green light, turning northbound on 98th Street, and there was a black Nissan Altima that was traveling southbound, high rate of speed, struck the other vehicle, and the driver of the vehicle that was speeding was the one that was deceased at the scene. That individual, I believe, was in his 20s, a 28-year-old man. As I said, he died at the scene of the crash. The victim in that incident suffered minor injuries, was transported to the hospital. So that's what we know of the first two. One was DWI related. The second one was speed. Speed was a factor in that crash, but the suspect in that case died at the scene, so there won't be any charges forthcoming, obviously. The third crash was at 4th Street in Candelaria. My understanding is DWI units were sent to the scene. I don't have any information as to whether anyone was arrested, but one individual, my understanding, was deceased at that scene as well. So those are the three crashes. Unfortunately, we're about at the same rate as last year with these three crashes in terms of fatalities and pedestrian fatalities. Unfortunately, it's a high number of fatalities involving traffic, and this is what we see in a lot of them is drunk driving, speeding, and these are the results when you see that sort of thing. So it was a busy night for our motors, our fatal traffic team. They're still out, I think, at one of the scenes, and they're still working on the scenes. Any questions on those? If not, I have some other news. Let me pass these out real quick too. So the crash that Chief Medina was involved in, we arrested the person who fired the gunshot this morning, and this is the criminal complaint for that individual. Unfortunately, like the photos in this criminal complaint are in black and white, so I'll try to email out color versions of these. But we were able to identify the suspect a couple of days ago. We got a tip from someone who gave the suspect's name, a possible name. Detectives tracked down the name, tracked down the vehicle, and we're able to compare it to past interactions between APD officers and this individual. He was, they also discovered that that truck, same truck we put out through Crime Stoppers pretty widely. We did discover that this individual had disguised the truck. He had spray painted it black, took off the front bumper, and a lot of things that made it characteristic of what we were putting out there. His description was a little different too when they arrested him, so I'll get you that information. But as a result of that, they were able to look at the truck. They were able to do a search warrant on the truck. He was discovered with a backpack this morning, so we're getting a search warrant for that backpack. He was arrested up in the area of Eubank and Britt, northeast, I think in the area, Foothills Area Command. So as you'll see from the criminal complaint, he does have a very lengthy criminal history. He is a felon, so we are going to refer charges to the U.S. Attorney's Office for felon in possession of a firearm for this incident, and he's facing several state charges related to the firearm and to the shooting. We were not getting a lot of information about this individual, so we're happy that we're able to track him down. Detectives kept looking for him, and like a lot of these crimes, we depend on tips from the public to help us track some of these guys down. So even if they alter their appearance or try to get away. Most of the time we're able to track them down. Any questions on this one?
Yeah, I do. I was just taking notes just to make sure I have everything. So you say he was arrested this morning by the North area, right?
By detectives. He was on foot. They've been looking for him since last night. We were able to get a search warrant signed by the DA's office and the judge last night, and our investigative services detectives had started looking for him, and they found him this morning.
Okay, and now everything's getting arrested.
Well, we are going to try to charge him federally since he's a felon in possession of a gun, which we often do federally. But according to this criminal complaint, he is facing state charges, so he'll be booked in the MDC.
So was it tips that brought the suspect?
My understanding is this tip, they got a name, and they were able to run down the name. They were able to find the truck, find other incidents where police had interactions with him. I'll go back and look at that, see if there's OBRD from those incidents. One was pretty recently, I think, and as I said, he was involved in a crash recently, so they were able to track the truck down at the tow yard. It was very similar. They saw where it was obvious it had been painted over, and other modifications were made. So, but a tip, I think, brought this over the finish line.
And he's at MDC right now?
I don't know. I have to see what the status of his booking. They're all in the criminal complaint, but they're all firearm related in the shooting. Okay. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Sure.